Hi YouTubers, how are you doing? My name is Nne Nna. Thank you so much for tuning into Intuitive Talks, where I, your host, I intuit into it, you intuit into it, we intuit into it, we all intuit into it. I just intuited into it, and I'm just connecting the dots while also just remembering memory. Today I'm going to be doing Today I'll be doing. Wait, what's this? Sorry. Today on this episode of Intuitive Talks, I'm going to be discussing the significance of the number eight, and it's through my own experience. So, I guess before I start, I should give a disclaimer. But if you really look at my channel, Intuitive Talks, you should, be prepared for this type of talks, this type of convo, this type of conversation. you know uh Disclaimer anyway. I i'm not claiming to you know anything, but I do know my experiences, and I do know that one just has to intuit into it, you understand, use their intuition. And that's what this channel is about, and especially this episode, you understand, as well as, to be honest, every other episode that I've ever put out on this channel. So if I've not really said it, well, I am doing a video on this episode of Intuitive Talks that helps me describe the significance of the eight. The reason why I'm doing this particular video of describing the significance of the number eight is because lately I've been seeing eight everywhere, and also I've been seeing it upside down. So it's kind of like eight and the infinity symbol sign. Um, from my research back in the day, when I started seeing, it's not that this is the first time I've been seeing eight. It's just that usually, I mean, for a couple of years now, since about 2017, the when I see the number eight, it's been very, very apparent for me that I couldn't even ignore it. Like, there was a time I went for my friend's wedding, and I think I was getting up from the bed and I fell, and on the way of me falling, as I was falling, something scratched me on my thigh. And when I looked at it, there was a big wound, of course, a big opening, and not as gigantic as I make made it sound, but yes, it's really enough for me to, for skin to show, and all that type of stuff, like for it to be, somewhat like bleed, you understand, and all that type of stuff. And it was, of course, it was painful. But as I started to look closer, I saw the number eight. And I didn't understand why my wound was showing the number eight, like it was shaped as the number eight. And I kind of sort of laughed at it because, when I told people around me, I was like, I don't know why I'm seeing the color. Doesn't it look like eight? You understand? They were more interested in, me being okay after the fall or whatever. And then a couple of days later, this is all last year, this is not even now. Then no, no, not last year, 2017, like around April or so. Yeah, April. Or am I seeing it? Anyway, somewhere around those years, either 2017. Yeah, it was about. I believe it was 2017, around April. Then couple of days later, I was just supervising the kids. One of the celebrations for the wedding or whatever. After the wedding and all that, you understand. And they were in a room, and somebody accidentally threw water on one of the teenagers' clothes, and she had to show off, and she was like, "Oh my god, okay, it's your problem. You understand? She turned around. It was so funny. So I tried to diffuse the situation, me not knowing how to. But I was like, oh, that looks like the number eight. And it really, I was like, do you know what I see? I see the number eight. You understand? And I really saw the number eight. So I was beginning to wonder, of course, why am I seeing the number eight in interesting situations? And then in just regular situations, you understand? And um there was one time where, yeah, I was wondering about it. And there was one time I was doing my hair, same 2017. uh anyway, so I was, what was I doing? I was doing my hair, and then I started seeing with the threads, the wool that I was using for my hair, the number eight. So at that point, I started to see too. It became recurring. It became a recurring event that I would just see, a recurring circumstance where I would just see the number eight. You understand? And I would just wonder, okay, what's this? But then as I started to see it, I started to wonder what's this. But I was not too much in shock or really, you understand, surprised to see that anymore. But I started to see it more often, and of course at a point it will stop. You understand? So when I saw that that last time, I remember I saw the number eight with the wool or whatever. This was years ago, 2017. I started to wonder. I started to wonder. What is it like? Why is the number eight coming to me? And even before all these things started happening, I usually research numbers anyway, and I'll look up the number eight, what it represents. You understand? But when this started happening lately, the significance of the number eight, and I knew I had to do a video for it, was because I started to just see it once again. You understand? It's like a recurring event. Like after these years, okay, if I see eight, I see eight. But when I see it in certain circumstances that I see it in, you understand, it makes me to question what's going on. Like, why am I seeing that? So so this year, a couple of weeks ago, or yeah, I started to see the number eight. I'll wake up, and then one of my bracelets or so is shaped, or my chalice is shaped in the number eight. Like what I call chalice, it may not be a cup that you let me go get it. Okay, so this is what I'm calling a chalice, whether it is or whether it isn't. You understand? A rosary, I guess. A rosary. I'm not Catholic, but I use this as piece of jewelry. You understand? Sometimes I'm attracted to some type of jewelry or ornament, and I wear it. It doesn't really mean that I belong to a cult or something, or it doesn't really mean that it doesn't mean that. It doesn't necessarily mean that. I just wear it. I saw it in the mall and I bought it. But back to what I was saying, I woke up in the morning and I believe I saw this as the number eight, like a giant eight just looking at me. And of course, you understand, that would be speaking to me. And I didn't. I've looked up numbers, like certain numbers, so much, especially if they're singular numbers, that I don't usually look up what the meaning of like a singular number, what it is most of the time, unless if it's like in if it's like in a sequence of numbers, or if it's like more than one. Let's say if it's 26, but most likely if it's like three numbers or four numbers, yes, I'll be looking that up. You understand? Like if I see 9:06 now, what the time is, I want to look up what 9:06 means, or 6:09, or and something, and I just play with it like that. Uh, so I saw that, and after I saw that, as I started to think about it more, I'll see even maybe my bracelets will be shaped as number eight, and it became too much. It's like what I described in what happened to me a couple of years ago. After I saw that one, the next one came, and the next one came. You get what I'm saying? So I started seeing eight everywhere. I started seeing it like with my thread once again. I saw the eight, and then what was peculiar about this time also, I started to notice that some of the eights that I came in contact with was actually like in the infinity symbol sign. So I knew I just knew I had to do a video about it. I had to talk about what it meant to me. And as I was thinking about that, as the eight kind of stopped, which it hasn't really stopped, and that's the reminder of me having to do this video. Then I started seeing the number six with threads. It's so funny. So I think I'll do a separate video with that. But what I believe it is just from research. Eight is the sign of power. If I'm not mistaken, I have my numerological numerol. Oh God, this tongue twister. My numerological. Okay, we're gonna use numerical now. My numerical number is the number eight, I believe. I've done this way back in the day, so that's my number. So when I read it, it's like, okay, this person is this life, this numerical number eight, is a sign of power. That's what I remember, is a sign of power. uh it just said things about power. You have a lot of money, or you go from times where you didn't have a lot of money, then you have enough money. You understand? This was in my beginning stages of being interested in numerology. You understand? So my numerology, I still can't say so. um I purposely, if I've not said this enough, I didn't look up what the number eight is, because I wanted to intuit into it. I wanted to use my intuition, and I'm somewhat happy with how my intuition is working and what I'm getting just off the top of my head. Um, I believe what it symbolizes to me, especially in this Leo season, and me being familiar with the Leo energy, um, a lot. It's kind of like, it means power, and it's like, so far my life, I've not really felt that power in a way where I felt that I think I should feel it. Like when I see myself in my life, I don't feel like people have given me the respect I feel like I deserve, or that I feel like it's my birthright. You know, I guess that's my ego talking. You know, I'm like the firstborn for a lot of children. So I mean, according to my culture, there's a certain respect you give to. I mean, you revere those types of people, but I don't feel like I really received it. Maybe when I was younger, yes, in a way, but as I got older, no. And that's because I believe, and it's obvious, you understand, when that, because I wasn't accomplished. I didn't accomplish things, you know the way that everybody expected me to perform. You understand? So, so I don't feel the respect. I feel disrespected a lot to the point where it seems as though I have to respect the people who are disrespecting me. It's kind of like a reverse psychosis. But that all has to do with karma. You understand? I've been through a lot of karmic situations for me to know that that is karma, and that is what the number eight means. Whether is whether it's karmic, like a karmic power, or like a karmic great situation, is all karmic. It's all it's all owed to you. You understand? It's kind of like saying power is there, but it's karma. It has its pros and its cons, and the cons may outweigh the pros, and or vice versa. You understand? But what stood out to me most was before I turned on this camera, what the number eight really meant to me. Because we're in the eighth month, August. It's August 7th, 2020, as I'm recording. We're on the eighth month. We're talking about the number eight, Leo season. Um, with my experiences with Leos, and just my experiences in life, I've noticed I've come in contact with a lot of people that, you know, that they felt they were wronged by me, or that I actually did something wrong to them. They didn't forgive me, and it's kind of like they couldn't forgive me, and it's kind of like, since eight is a karmic number, eight is a karmic number, it's a number that represents karma. And the eighth sign is Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of revenge. It doesn't forgive. So that is what I'm figuring out with the nature of eight. Is kind of like the sign of unforgiveness or forgiveness. It's kind of like forgiveness is an illusion, that there's no forgiveness. It's kind of like whatever you do, there's karma for it, whether the person forgives you or not. But there's nothing like forgiveness. You know, that's just what I'm kind of like understanding, especially with my dealings with Leo people. Like, there was one time, I was upset, so I spazzed out on my Leo friend. Wrong move. He's a man too. Wrong move. He just couldn't forgive him. He told me, he's like, look, I'm not gonna forgive. He's like, look, because I knew what was wrong. I was like, all he needed to do is forgive, because I move on. And for me, people have done a lot of nonsense to me that I shouldn't forgive them. It's just that my heart doesn't work like that. I've been in a lot of situations where the people who wronged me did not give a fuck that I had to give a fuck. So you get what I'm saying? I always had to give a fuck. And those people who hurt me, they were in position to help me. So even as I got mad, it was even worse, because you get what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you get mad. Okay, after I hurt you, okay, we don't give a fuck, because I just don't have to do the things that you would like, or I will do the things you like, but I'll still do something to make you know that you understand I don't mess with you, or I haven't forgiven you. So, like that. Like, it has been my whole life, which lets me know that in a past life, I must have done a lot of things that is so wrong. I mean, excluding this lifetime, like I must have done things so wrong that I don't want to say I didn't forgive, but I think that I just maybe I had unforgiving spirit. But I think it's more of I hurt people so much in past lives and or in this life that I fail to see how the way I hurt them that they can't recover from what I did. Not me, I can recover because I see myself. I just move on. Like some people feel like when some people see the way I operate, they're like, "Oh, I wish I had your kind of heart." At a point, you can't even say it's the heart that forgive. You just that forgave anybody. You just move on. That's the classic example of me. I move on, and it's not like I really move on like that. It's like I'm acting film. I just and I have to keep it moving. You get what I'm saying? I really have to keep it moving till I get an opportunity. Like I'm very opportunistic like that. I can get an opportunity, and if I get the opportunity, yeah, I will hurt you. But I'm very innocuous the way I look. I'm very harmless. So it's hard for me to believe that somebody as harmless as me can hurt somebody, even though I have. It's even harder for me to believe why people can't move on from when somebody does something to them. But that's just the simple thing about life. It's kind of like, okay, maybe if I do this, this person will forgive me. But no, you're just wasting your time. It keeps going on and on. It's kind of like the karmic cycle keeps on going on and on and on and on and on. Like, how long do you want to play in it? You understand? How long do I want to play in it? I just keep my thoughts. You understand? It's kind of like I try to keep my thoughts pure. Even if I think bad, I try to erase that after some time, which doesn't take long. Like it's true what they say about Aries people. We don't hold grudge, but that's not true. I've seen a lot. I've just seen a lot of people, even with the Aries sign, especially Aries men. It doesn't even matter Aries, especially Aries men though. They can't forgive, and I feel like it has to do because they're man. And it's the same thing. It's like who hurt who? Who hurt who? Did you hurt me? I react. You upset with me, and you won't forgive me. I don't know. Oh, because of what I did to you, you can't move on. It's like the ego does not forgive. It doesn't forgive. So it's kind of like if you do something to someone, it's like a waste of time apologizing, even though they're looking for their apology. So I guess that's why in this day and age, you understand, of course I may be over exaggerating. For me personally, I feel that for a lot of people it's hard for them to apologize. And it's not like they don't want to explain it or and not. Because I usually attract people who are extremely introverted. They don't open up. They can listen to me talk all day. They don't give a fuck. And then when it comes time for them to open up, they don't. It's just weird. And I keep chasing after those type of people. My mom was like that. She was the best storyteller ever. And I believe I inherited that storytelling abilities. But boy, was she so secretive. But she was a Scorpio. Scorpio is a sign of secret. Me. Okay. So I had to throw that away. Anywho, yeah. The reason why I feel eight is connected to the whoa. The reason why I feel like eight is connected to the how do you say it? It's connected to the concept of forgiveness and unforgiveness. It's kind of like we as maybe Christians or anybody who has morals or some kind of belief, most of the time they believe in the notion that when you do something wrong to somebody, they will forgive you. But then you're forgetting that there is also the negative concept of there are repercussions for a person's behavior. There are repercussions for one's transgressions. There are repercussions for when you break a law. So that is why I guess I've been able to see the number eight all the time. It's kind of like when you think you do something and you get away with it, it's kind of like the eight is a reminder that yeah, you have power, but still it's karmic. And or whether you have power or not, there's still the karmic power of karma that keeps going on and on forever. It never stops. Whether true or not, what I'm saying, look at the number eight and look at the number upside down. Infinity, the infinity symbol, something that keeps going on and on and on and on, into looping, going round, coming round, and going through the loop again. You know, how do you break yourself out of a cycle, out of a karmic cycle? I think eight represents a karmic cycle anyway. It's kind of like the end of something has to happen. How do you do it? How do you do it? When you've been in this over and over again for many lives, over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. And a lot of times for me is like trying to understand, will somebody forgive me or not? And with the number eight is basically saying no. You pay for your sins. The person is still not gonna forgive you, even if you show the person, oh, I've changed, or oh, I'm really sorry about what happened. The person doesn't have to forgive you, and it's not like the person doesn't have to forgive you. The person wouldn't forgive you. So what do? You take the karmic cycle into your hands. You end it, and or you rebirth it in a nice way Could it ever be the same and or pure? No. But could it be restored to something that could be at least positive, or like close to being on a clean slate? Yes, and that will be, I think that's what they call utopia. But I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. That it will be a perfect world that we'll live in and there will be no evil. But the truth is that there's positive, there's negative, and don't let the positive fool you. 8. Leo is a very positive sign, but at the same time, it does have its dark side as traits, and they're very, very deadly and evil. It could be is a lion. A lion is a killer. He's the king of the jungle, amongst other things. Uh, I just hope I'm able to decode the number 8 as I'm decoding into it. Um, that's how I feel about it. If I have any other things to say about it, maybe I would. But I think for now I'll stop it here before it gets too long. Um, and that's how I feel about the number 8. I feel it's a sign of never ending, never ending karmic cycles, unforgiveness, and then I'll end it with if you want to stop like an infinity of rubbish, it's kind of like, or an infinity of karmic cycle that is bad, um or just a cycle that keeps repeating itself. What do you do to stop it? It's kind of like stop the power struggles, because number 8 means power anyway. So whether you fight or not, you understand, especially with somebody like me who's lost so many battles, you understand, like it's kind of like stop the power struggles. You don't, it's not needed. It's not needed. No power struggles. It will almost be as if it's like lose the ego, even though you're supposed to have it for this season. But lose the power struggles in order for you to understand the number of 8 and why 8 must run its course, and how you can just detach and disconnect from it, and to a certain extent, like stop it if you can, because number 1, you can't run away from yourself. So 8, infinity. So stop the power struggle. No more power struggles. And that's how you're able to serve your karmic cycle, or serve your karma, or respect the number 8 for what it stands as, power. And that is all I have for this episode for right now, for the numerical number 8, and what I believe it signifies. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Intuitive Talks. I'm Nne Nna, and thank you so much for tuning in to Intuitive Talks. I just connected the dots, and I'm just remembering memory. Take care, everyone.